free Golden Eagles for War Thunder. Download the app in the description below. Hey guys, welcome back to War Thunder. Welcome to a casual rant video on my favourite map in the game, Kursk. This map is juicy, man. It's amazing. It's 10 out of 10. Why do I hate the map? Always get that question. Why do you hate a map in the game, you know? And I gotta give you the answer. I don't. I don't actually hate Fulda. I don't hate Kursk. I mean, I can live with the whole, you know, driving in a straight line simulator for 5 minutes. I can live with it. What I can't live with are morons. And trust me, we're on the internet, there's a lot of them to be found. Do I hate bombers? See, the answer is no. I don't hate bombers. I don't like spading them. They're boring because I gotta play them. But they're just bombers, you know? They don't harm anyone. What I don't like, though, is people who fly bombers and decide that the best way to do it is to side climb, or to go to space, or to drop their bombs in gunship. You know, that's my grief. It's that the issue with a map like Kursk isn't necessarily with the map. I mean, yeah, it's big, and it makes for boring engagement, and yes, I'm playing the Chieftain Mark 10, which has zero lineup to work with capture points, which means that on a map like this, I can only go and do one of the capture points, right? If I was in a KPZ-70, I could go for both Bravo and Charlie, or maybe Bravo and Alpha, you know, and doing that means 2/3 of the map is being covered by myself truly. And if I'm good enough to carry, I could potentially win the whole game. But I can't, because I'm solo, which means that I have to go for only one of the capture points. And as that is said, I can only hold down 1/3 of the map. And because Bravo is in such a position that you can still somewhat defend Alpha, I wanted to focus most of my kind of aggressiveness or cover towards that direction. Unfortunately, only one player on an entire team decided that Alpha was going to be important. So it's going to fall down to how the team plays, but judging from the fact that we have a lot of MBTs, we should be fine throughout this game. Now, from the top of my head, I can probably imagine 3 types of people who are going to love this map. Players who like camping, players who like driving light tanks, getting shot by campers, and people who just generally love grass. Because trust me, if there's one thing Kursk has a lot of, it's grass. Grass over here, grass over there, you've guessed it, there's grass absolutely everywhere. I had a chat with someone on Twitter a few weeks back, and he asked me why I don't like these big maps, and I said it's because you can't make a big map small, but you can make a small map big, and he got beyond confused, so I figured might as well explain it in the video. Let's say you're playing the E100. Sorry, the mouse. You don't have the E100. So, presuming that you're trying to play a slow, heavy tank, there's a few things that you probably want from the map, preferably paved roads, maybe a little bit of cover, corners you can angle on. You know, the last thing you want is a bunch of dirt ground and open ground terrain, because that's suicide for a vehicle like the mouse. Because what the mouse is for me is like a slow camper, right? I mean, you're not really doing much with the mouse. You're attracting damage your way, you're slowly moving towards the objective, but you kind of never get there. I mean, there's rare moments. There's moments where you're going to go and spawn camp in the mouse. It happens. The enemy team's just so bad, they completely ignore what was happening in the middle, but for the most part, the mouse is just kind of slowly transitioning towards the objective. It never really gets there. It's like a utopic vehicle. But it's always doing work. You know, the mouse is always on the prowl. It's always moving, inch by inch. It's getting closer. What a camper does, a camper sits outside the capture point, close to it, observing it, shooting at it, but he doesn't bother doing the objective, right? He might be securing it, but if nobody is there to go do it, then you're just going to end up losing anyways. And on Kursk, what often happens is, and I've observed this from probably about 250 games or so that I've played in total on this map, before it's been fixed, before it was changed, before it had different houses built there, and, you know, is that only a handful of players actually bother going for the cap. And if you just look at the map, if you've been paying attention to the map, we have 2 people that have a chance of going at Charlie, and they're busy doing the kind of ridgeline flank attempt. They're very far away from us, and there's no way we can cover them. The solo player who is going for alpha is sitting in the back of the map trying to probably ATGM snipe across the map. And there's 2 players in total with a flanking assist, so 2+1, that we are actually trying to go and do the objective. Now, as you can tell, what I'm doing right now is I'm pushing. Instead of sitting in the capture point, which maybe would have been a better idea, instead of maybe trying to supply some cross shots over to alpha, I was feeling greedy. I wanted to get a few extra kills, so I'm pushing the ridgeline, because if I can get behind the ridgeline into preferably this smoke pile, I can be protected from the rear, because that alpha person, I think it's a Rakitniak Panzer 2 HOT, he can't hit me, because I'm in the smoke of his own teammate. So it's actually within my best interest to be as aggressive here as possible. Oh shit, I'm in the enemy spawn. Now, I mean, say what you will, but do I really have a different option here? My team's on 2 capture points, their team's on 1 capture point. My team has some form of positioning on the map, we have some form of communication on the map. The enemy team, they have nothing. I mean, the fact that the slowest vehicle in this entire matchmaker, being myself in the Chieftain Mark 10, is currently sitting between both of their spawn points. And the answer why, it isn't just because I can, it's because I want to. Because the match is beyond over. The enemies are spawning in Gepards. They have still players in Leopards sitting at the side of the map trying to figure out where that one target they've been shooting at for the past 5 minutes is. One of the big flaws of big maps where you're trying to snipe people is that you tend to get a very strong effect of tunnel visioning. And, I mean, what the enemy could have done here is they could have used team chat, they could have used map pinning. There's a lot of ways you can notify players, but of course the easiest thing to do is just to do absolutely nothing. Sit in the same spot for the entire game, get taken out, and then go back to hangar, rinse and repeat. I mean, look on the bright side, I'm on Kursk. Kursk is a big map, so spawn camping is impossible here, so you can't even label me as a spawn camper. Feels good, man. Now, you know what the best part about spawn camping is that there's something called reverse spawn camping. It works both ways, and once somebody kills you in your spawn, you just have to spawn back in and kill them back. They're still in the same spot. So, one of their best players, Mr. Cobalt Ace, shout out to this guy because he was the only person that I've seen on this map actually react to what I was doing, albeit he was the only person actually aware of where I was. He actually reacted. He bothered putting in the effort to react to what was happening on the map, which I think is worth of a shout out. And now for the main part of the video. I know, you've waited this entire time to see this. Now this, ladies and gentlemen, is exclusible to Kursk. Maybe folder, but exclusible to Kursk. I call this game mode Hide and Seek. It's a very simple game mode. It usually takes part in the very late match when your entire team has captured all the objectives, when the enemy spawn points have been thoroughly cleaned, but there's still one guy somewhere. You know that one guy who spends 20 minutes doing 0 kills and hasn't died yet, but you have no idea where they could possibly be? Well, the first thing that we do is we take our very, very neat RP3 rockets, which have been nerfed to the point that close air support is no longer possible. Good joke. And we set out on a brave journey to, of course, locate the final player. Now, this is where going with a plane is actually 10 times faster, because imagine trying to find the last guy camping in something like a mouse. Now that would be good fucking meme. Now the first place I want to check is the enemy spawn point. So I just finished off the second to last remaining player in the RE251, and one of my teammates got killed by a KPZ, so we know what we're finding, we know what we're trying to find. It's a KPZ, which makes it so much more amusing, because it's actually a very fast vehicle, and yet the guy decided to camp. Now, those of you with very, very good eyesight have already spotted him, and you're yelling into the screen with your keyboard, "No, he's over there, you missed him." I don't think I'm that blind, but you know what the good part about Kursk is? I mean, if the map is not all the same color. It's green and a bit of brown and a bit of gray, and it really makes me think why there were markers in the RB tournament event for the E100. I mean, surely not because people could, it can't be the camping thing. Now, there's a lot of ways you can camp in this game, right? If you want to do long-range sniping, then you're just a casual camper, right? So you're sitting on a ridge line or behind a hill, and you're just, shooting with your, Tiger 2. Then you can have the upgraded camper. The upgraded camper is doing something like shooting ATGMs from behind cover. He's being a little bit cancerous because you can't reliably kill them, but still, they're sitting behind a hill. They can't really do much from there, so just flank them or stray them with a plane. Then you have a spawn camper, like somebody like theOrangeDoom. You know, he likes to drive into enemy spawns, even though the match is already over, but still, spawn camping as it is. Then you can spawn camp, as in sit in your own spawn and wait for people to go spawn camping. I mean, next level, right? But no, how about we go hardcore? How about camping the entire map? Now, that is something I want to see. And it's been achieved. It's been achieved by a person in a KPZ-70 who is currently sitting, you've guessed it, in the very corner of the map. I am absolutely amazed. You're going to see him in a moment now. If you haven't actually spotted him, I flew over him quite a few times. There he is. Look at that. Absolute madman. He is sitting in the very corner of the map, which means that nobody could even find him. I mean, if you're not an accurate shot, or using ATGMs, or using close air support, this guy is physically unkillable. Now, the only good part about this particular match is that we have 3 capture points, which means that no matter what happened, we would have still won the game. But what if this was a double capture point match? In that case, this guy could have legitimately dragged out the game for over 25 minutes. Just let that sink in. And so every time somebody comes around my stream or YouTube comment section or whatever it might be and asks me, why do you not like Kursk? You know, I have to refrain from saying it's because it's a dog shit map and instead say, well, it's because it's my subjective opinion. So I'm not hurting yours because you could, you know, perhaps be a camper. And campers have feelings and I don't want to offend them. I am curious about something though, and that is there a possibility for Gaijin to create a voting system or some type of poll in which we could reliably see what kind of players, statistically looking, the way they play the game, prefer what maps, and what percentage of players actually likes Kursk and why they like it. So this time, I'm asking the campers, can you tell me why Kursk is a good map? And if you succeed in your persuasiveness, you know what? I'll just make a video on the striker for you. But for now, let's go free my golden niggles so I can spade it.